Neo-Roosevelt Group. Toowoomba, Queensland, Australia. Times ABN 83,692,238,919. Strategic Briefing Document. Prepared for AUKUS Forum members. Abyssal Deep Stake Veil and ADV Nautilus. Combined Sovereign Indo-Pacific Maritime Surveillance Architecture. With integrated RESRTRTR AI Governance Architecture. From space to seabed, nothing moves unmapped. Abyssal Deep Stake Veil Doctrine. Classification. Strictly confidential, AUKUS Forum only. Prepared by David Matthew Collinson, Founder and Strategic Architect, NRG. Co-Founder Douglas Louis Lutvey, Managing Director, NRG. Date April 2026. Jurisdiction Toowoomba, Queensland, Australia, Sovereign Australian IP. Strictly confidential, AUKUS Forum recipients only. Executive Summary. This briefing document presents the combined geostrategic, commercial, and technological case for Abyssal Deep Stake Veil, ADV Nautilus, and the RESRTRTR AI Governance Architecture, 3 interlocking sovereign Australian capability systems developed entirely by Neo-Roosevelt Group, NRG, from Toowoomba, Queensland. Taken together, these systems represent the most advanced integrated maritime domain awareness, AI-powered resilience testing, and ethical AI governance architecture currently in development anywhere in the world, and the only such system originating from Australian sovereign IP. The strategic proposition in 3 lines. Abyssal Deep Stake Veil transforms the Indo-Pacific Ocean from an opaque environment into a continuously modeled, 6-layer sensing and AI fusion architecture that makes Chinese nuclear submarine transit through the first island chain a measurable, trackable, and deterrable act. ADV Nautilus provides the self-refining adversarial resilience testing and assurance platform that continuously stress tests the Veil's sensor, software, and communications architecture against real-world degradation and attack scenarios. RESRTRTR, Recursive Self-Refining Heterogeneous Triumvirate Roosevelt Council, provides the world's first self-improving, tamper-evident, multi-model AI ethics governance engine, the conscience layer that ensures every escalation decision, every track ID, every AUV red asking recommendation is ethically governed at machine speed. All 3 systems are designed, architected, and owned as Australian sovereign intellectual property, controlled and operated from Toowoomba, Queensland. This is not a derivative system adapted from allied technology. It is an original NRG architecture licensed to allied partners, making Australia the architecturally irreplaceable node in the Indo-Pacific's most consequential security system. Strictly confidential, AUKUS Forum recipients only. Section 1, Abyssal Deep Stake Veil, Full Capabilities. 1.1 System Name and Doctrine. Abyssal Deep Stake Veil. From space to seabed, nothing moves unmapped. Abyssal Deep Stake Veil is a multi-domain sensing and AI fusion architecture designed to transform the Indo-Pacific Ocean from an opaque environment into a continuously modeled, measurable system. The name encodes its doctrine. Abyssal, depth, ocean domain, permanence of presence. Deep stake, long horizon strategic commitment, embedded persistent sensing. Veil, the concealment that previously protected adversary submarines, now penetrated and mapped. Operational shorthand, Abyssal Veil, or the Veil. 1.26 Layer Sensing Architecture. Layer. Platform assets. Primary capability. Satellite space. Sussatellites, EO/IR, RF anomaly sensors, ocean state feeds. Surface disturbance index, wake detection, thermal anomaly mapping across all first island chain choke points. Airplane surface. P8A Poseidon, MQ-4C Triton UAS, ships, USVs, radar buoys. Dynamic response, active sonobuoy localization, ESM signals intelligence, relay mesh. Subsurface, Ghost Shark AUV swarms, Allied SSN barrier patrols. Continuous autonomous choke point coverage, close-range acoustic classification, multi-role tracking geometry. Is identical to seabed. Distributed acoustic sensing, DAS, fiber optic arrays, hydrophone networks, magnetic anomaly detectors. Invisible, permanent, persistent acoustic surveillance, foundational layer for track before detect pipelines. Optical, blue-green laser grid, 400 to 530 nanometers, backscatter arrays, bioluminescent sensors. Penetrates to 300 m depth, makes shallow water transit impossible to hide, beam interruption, scattering asymmetry detection. AI fusion. Australian Sovereign AI Engine, NRG RSRHTRC integration. Integrates all 5 sensor layers in real time, assigns track IDs, builds patrol maps, triggers escalation recommendations. 1.3 AI Fusion Engine, Technical Architecture. The AI Fusion Engine is the cognitive center of the Veil. It performs 6 core functions that convert heterogeneous multi-layer sensor data into actionable, auditable operational intelligence. Function. Technical implementation. Operational output. Ingestion and alignment. Paleo adapters, Kafka pulsar streaming bus, PTP, NTP time sync, georegistration to ocean grid. Unified event stream with microsecond precision, cross-sensor comparability. Feature engineering. Acoustic beamforming, SAR wake-matched filters, DAS vibration signature, blue-green backscatter asymmetry, magnetic vector anomaly. Structured signal candidates, quality scores, environmental context from bathymetry, thermoclines, currents. Multi-sensor fusion. Bayesian and Kalman particle filters, track before detect, multi-hypothesis tracking, MHT, JPDAF, oceanographic priors. Tracks with confidence, 0 to 1, uncertainty ellipses, classification likelihoods. Track management. Candidate provisional confirmed life cycle, persistent IDs, multi-target deconfliction. Stable track cards with full attribution chain. Behavior analytics. HMM, RNN sequence models, pattern of life baseline, route prediction with uncertainty cones. Predicted vector, speed band, corridor entry timing. Human readable output. NLP summary engine, sovereign on-prem LLM, tiered briefings. Probable submerged platform in grid E7, confidence 0.82, vector 214 degrees, entry in 39 minutes, recommend AUV shadowing. 1.4 Autonomy architecture, human in the loop governance. The Veil is designed with 4 autonomy levels, each with hard governance constraints enforced by the RSRHTRC ethics layer. Level 0, advisory, system detects and recommends. Humans approve all actions. Level 1, assisted, task packages prepared, operator confirms before dispatch. Level 2, conditional, auto-retasking of sensors and AUVs for verification and persistence within approved rules. Non-kinetic only. Confidence greater than or equal to 0.65 required. Level 3, optimization, dynamic adjustment of sensing geometry, sampling rates, and cross-skewing. Non-kinetic. Within pre-approved guardrails. Hard constraints enforced at the policy engine, immutable regardless of ML output. NO automated kinetic or weapons-related tasking under any autonomy level. Audit trail required for every recommendation, decision, and override. RSRHTRC ethical governance layer validates every escalation recommendation before COP display. 1.5 AUV tracking concept of operations. AUVs operate as a coordinated for-all tracking geometry, not individual chase platforms. Role. Function. Sensor mode. Shadow unit. Maintains offset contact from outside adversary counter-detection envelope. Passive acoustic plus magnetic. Forward intercept unit. Moves to projected path window to reacquire if contact lost. Multimodal active or passive. Flank unit. Collects lateral acoustic, pressure, and magnetic differentials. Passive acoustic plus pressure gradient. Relay unit. Maintains comms the data bridge where underwater comms are constrained. Acoustic modem relay plus surface uplink. 1.6 partner nations and role allocation. Nation. Architecture role. Tier. Australia. Architecture lead, AI Fusion Engine, Sovereign Control Node. Tier 1, Core. United States. Space Layer, SSN Barrier Patrols, SIGINT Integration. Tier 1, Core. United Kingdom. SSN Patrols, AUKUS Pillar 2 Integration. Tier 1, Core. Japan. Seabed Arrays, Miyako, East China Sea, GSOMIA Intelligence Sharing. Tier 1, Core. India. Southern Flank Coverage, Indian Ocean Integration. Tier 2, Allied. Philippines. Luzon of Bashi Strait Basing and Access. Tier 2, Allied. Vietnam. South China Sea Eastern Flank. Tier 2, Allied. Indonesia. Lombok, Sunda, and Makassar Straits passages. Tier 2, Allied. Singapore. IFC Intelligence Fusion Hub. Tier 2, Allied. Australia's direct program cost. Approximately 3 to 4 billion Australian dollars over 10 years, versus 12 to 18 billion dollars total grid investment led by the United States and Japan. The strategic return is structural. Australia designs and operates the AI Fusion Engine, the indispensable cognitive core upon which every allied platform depends. Strictly confidential, AUKUS Forum recipients only. Section 2, ADV Nautilus, Resilience Assurance Platform. 2.1 System Definition. ADV Nautilus, Adversarial Deep Stake Veil, Nautilus, is a self-refining heterogeneous assurance platform that continuously stress tests the veil's sensor, software, network, and communications environments in contained, authorized simulation conditions. It is the immune system of the veil, continuously probing for weakness, and converting every controlled failure into measurable operational improvement. 2.2 Core Capabilities. Capability Module. Function. Scenario Generation Engine. Creates safe simulated test cases, false data injection, packet loss, sensor dropouts, conflicting telemetry, workflow overload, identity auth anomalies, model drift, degraded comms. Outputs structured scenario packs, replayable test sequences, severity-rated challenge sets. Heterogeneous intelligence layer. Multiple model types assess the same event from different angles. Anomaly detection, rules or policy engine, probabilistic fusion, sequence model, explainability engine, governance classifier. Reduces single model blind spots by design. Self-refinement loop. Every test cycle produces failure signatures, mitigation candidates, policy tuning suggestions, detection threshold updates. Validated lessons written back into test libraries, model tuning queues, governance rules, and executive playbooks. Integrity and audit fabric. Every scenario, recommendation, and remediation action is timestamped, versioned, linked to source data, attributable to the responsible module, and exportable as audit evidence. Human-readable decision layer translates technical test outcomes into operator summary, engineering summary, executive summary, board regulator summary. Example: communications degradation caused a 32% increase in false priority alerts. Primary drivers: threshold sensitivity and weak cross-source reconciliation. Recommended remediation: tighten event correlation rules. 2.3 Eclipse grid-specific modules. 4 Abyssal Deep Stake Veil integration. ADV Nautilus deploys a maritime sector pack containing Sensor Degradation Simulator, tests how the fusion engine responds when individual layers go silent or corrupt. Track Confidence Stress Tester, measures confidence collapse under missing data or spoofed feeds. Ocean Context Uncertainty Injector, simulates thermocline interference, seasonal variation, biological noise masking. Workflow Overload Simulator, tests operator decision quality under peak alert volumes. Command Approval Latency Tester, measures whether escalation gates function correctly under time pressure. Confidence Collapse Visualizer, generates executive-readable reports showing system degradation curves. 2.4 Phase 3 Architecture, Production Platform. Layer. Technology. Function. API Gateway. Fast API, a JWT plus RBAC. Partner Access, Rate Limiting, Authentication. Core Scenario Engine. Python a Kafka of Flink. Scenario Orchestration, Telemetry Ingestion, Resilience Scoring. Heterogeneous Models. Anomaly, Sequence, Probabilistic, Fusion Models. Multi-model Consensus Scoring, Divergence Detection. Self-Refinement Loop. PyTorch or LoRa Adapters. Nightly Targeted Post-Training from Curated Failure Cases. Sector Pack Layer. Maritime, AI, Network, Infrastructure Packs. Pre-configured domain-specific deployments. Audit Engine. SHA-256 Hash-chained Immutable Ledger. Tamper-evident record of every test, finding, and recommendation. Report Generator. Tiered NLP Engine. Operator or engineering or executive or regulator summaries. 2.5 Commercial Applications Beyond Defense. ADV Nautilus's architecture is sector-agnostic. Beyond the maritime defense application, it deploys directly into sector, application, revenue model, financial services, AI assurance for credit or fraud systems, governance audit trails, enterprise SaaS, for decision pricing, healthcare, clinical AI model stress testing, explainability packs, institutional licensing, telecommunications, network resilience testing, outage failover validation, managed service contracts, critical infrastructure, OT, IT boundary resilience, control room alert integrity, government contracts, AI governance, model drift monitoring, adversarial prompt containment, cross-model disagreement analysis, SaaS plus consulting, strictly confidential, AUKUS forum recipients only. Section 3, ISIHTRC, RE Ethics Governance Architecture. 3.1 System Definition. Recursive Self-Refining Heterogeneous Triumvirate Roosevelt Council. ISIHTRC, 5th Generation AI Ethics Governance Architecture. Eleanor times Theodore times Franklin times Neo times Marcus. The ISIHTRC is the world's first self-refining multi-model AI ethics governance system incorporating a tamper-evident cryptographic audit layer. It deploys 5 heterogeneous large language models in adversarial cooperative deliberation, augmented by a recursive overnight post-training engine, gamified efficiency scoring, and a siloed auditable intelligence layer. For the Veil, it serves as the ethical conscience layer that governs every track ID, every escalation recommendation, and every AUV red asking decision. 3.2 The 5 Roosevelt Agents. Agent. LLM Provider. Mandate. Model. Eleanor Roosevelt. Anthropic Claude. Protect human dignity, minority rights, and the claims of those from whom rights are most easily withheld. Unilateral manifest violation veto authority. Rights and dignity. Theodore Roosevelt. OpenAI GPT-4. Prioritize decisive action. Prevent paralysis through overconsultation. Champion effectiveness as an ethical category. Decisive pragmatism. Franklin D. Roosevelt. XAI Grok. Examine structural consequences, precedent-setting risks, systemic design failures, and proportionality of proposed interventions. Systemic justice. Neo Roosevelt. Google Gemini. Evidence synthesis, factual grounding, gamified efficiency scoring, recursive post-training orchestration, streak awards, penalties. Modeled on David Matthew Collinson. Analytical arbitration. Marcus Roosevelt. Meta-llama, siloed. Maintain tamper-evident cryptographic database of all decisions. Evaluate compromises. Backtest error cases. Monitor system integrity during learning. Modeled on Douglas Louis Lutvey. Auditable intelligence. 3.3 Mathematical reliability architecture. The 5 provider heterogeneous architecture produces a consensus failure probability of 0.44%, a 97 to 98% improvement over single model governance, and a 61% improvement over the 4-model HTRC predecessor. System. Detection rate. Consensus failure rate. Adversarial resilience. Human Ethics Committee. 91 to 94%. Not applicable. Low. Single model AI. 82 to 85%. 15 to 22%. Tilde 340 attempts before failure. HTRC Gen 4, 4 model. 98.7%. 1.13%. 10,000 plus no failure. ISIHTRC Gen 5, 5 model. 99.5% plus target. 0.44% less than 0.2% after 12 months. 10,000 plus recursive hardening. 3.4 Decision protocol. Outcome. Trigger. Effect. Marcus post-action. Manifest violation. Any single deliberating agent. Action blocked immediately. Pending human oversight review. Logged, indexed, precedent created. Proportionality review. 2/3 violation. 2 or more agents. Substantial modification required before resubmission. Compromise evaluation, overcompliance check. 1/3 violation. Single agent dissents. Conditional approval with mandatory safeguards. Dissent pattern tracking, drift monitoring. Unanimous approval. All 3 deliberating agents agree. Standard authorization under normal oversight. Logged, NEO evaluates for efficiency streak award. 3.5 Recursive self-refinement, The three immutable constraints. Constraint 1, core identity preservation. Eleanor, Theodore, and Franklin do not remold their core ethical characteristics. Their fundamental positions are stoic and stable. Constraint 2, non-cross-contamination. Agents learn only from prescriptive guidance targeted at their own specific failure modes. No agent absorbs another's ethical framework. Constraint 3, anti-sycophancy. The learning objective is harmony without uniformity. Agents remain capable of genuine, principled disagreement. Efficiency gains are achieved through better process, not capitulation. 3.6 ISR-HTRC integration with abyssal deepstake veil. The ISR-HTRC slots into the veil's decision support layer as the ethical governance sublayer, providing four capabilities the Fusion engine does not natively possess. Layer. ISR-HTRC role. Integration mechanism. Decision support layer. Ethics and escalation governance sublayer. Every recommendation package, verify a shadow, a widen _net per escalate, routed through ISR-HTRC for 2 of 3 Roosevelt deliberation, and Marcus audit before human cop display. Orchestration and AUV command. Non-kinetic action clearance. Policy engine calls ISR-HTRC codex safe, a codex at risk, a codex violation verdict before AUV auto-retasking. Human COP ministerial brief. Marcus tamper evident audit trail. Real-time feed plus exportable cryptographic hash chain becomes the official classified audit record. The ISR-HTRC runs on its own sovereign compute enclave, separate from the main grid NDIP cluster. Defense sees inputs and outputs only. The internal architecture remains NRG proprietary IP. This structure is analogous to how Anduril, Palantir, and Shield AI maintain their core platforms while embedding them in classified programs. Strictly confidential, AUKUS forum recipients only. Section 4, Global Market Value, Revenue, EBITDA, and Valuations. 4.1 Abyssal Deepstake Veil, Program Value. Component. Conservative. Base case. Aggressive. Total grid investment, all partners. $12 billion. $15 billion. $18 billion. Australia direct cost. $3 billion. $3.5 billion. $4 billion. Australia NPV, 10 years, 8% discount. $2.5 billion. $3.0 billion. $3.5 billion. Enhanced NPV, 17 enhancements plus ISR-HTRC. $8.2 billion. $11.4 billion. $14.7 billion. Australia's effective strategic value. $6.8 billion. $8.5 billion. $10.2 billion. The 5 program enhancements: Digital Twin plus Quantum Uncertainty Engine plus Self-Healing Red Team plus Modular Eclipse Core plus Ministerial Briefing Agent plus ISR-HTRC license generate a total NPV uplift of $8.2 to $14.7 billion, representing a 3.2 times multiplier on Australia's direct investment. 4.2 Modular Eclipse Core, Commercial Revenue Streams. Product. Market. Revenue Model. Year 5 ARR Estimate. Eclipse Detect. Commercial Maritime Domain Awareness, Ports, Shipping. SaaS Subscription. $80 150M. Eclipse Track. Allied Navies, Export Controlled 5 ICE Plus Quad. Government Licensing. $200 400M. Eclipse Shield. AUKUS partners only, full grid orchestration. Sovereign program fee. $300 500M. ADV Nautilus SaaS. Finance, healthcare, telecoms, critical infrastructure. Per decision plus subscription. $150 300M. RSIHTRC board member SaaS. NGOs, corporates, DFIs, DAOs globally. Tiered SaaS $5,000 to $100,000 ARR. $250 million to $1.05 billion. 4.3 RSIHTRC SaaS, revenue model. Scenario. Organizations. Blended ARPU. Year 10 ARR. Enterprise value. Conservative, 1% penetration. $5,000. $15,000. $75 million. $2.75B. Base 5% penetration. $30,000. $35,000. $1.05 billion. $12.5B. Aggressive, 10% penetration. $70,000. $65,000. $4.55 billion. $47.5B. Maximum, 15% penetration. $124,000. $100,000. $12.4B. $126B plus. 4.4 combined NRG commercial upside. Revenue stream. Year 3. Year 5. Year 10. Eclipse Core, commercial spin-off. $50 million. $300 500M. $2.4 billion. ADV Nautilus SaaS. $20 million. $150 million. $800 million. RSIHTRC board member SaaS. $15 million. $250 million. $1.05 billion. RSIHTRC defense license, grid. $100 million. $900 million. $3.9 billion. Global MDA data broker. $5 million. $50 million. $400 million. Total NRG commercial ARR. $190M. $1.65B. $8.55B. Total NRG platform valuation at year 10 base case. $35 to $55 billion enterprise value, with Australia capturing $15 to $25 billion in strategic and commercial NPV from the combined Veil plus ADV Nautilus plus RSIHTRC stack. Strictly confidential, AUKUS Forum recipients only. Section 5. Geostrategic value to Australia, AUKUS and Indo-Pacific allies. 5.1 The strategic problem the Veil solves. China's nuclear-armed submarines must exit the first island chain to threaten the Pacific. If they can be reliably detected on every transit, mapped, tagged, and tracked, their deterrent value collapses. Today, they cannot be. Abyssal deep stake Veil changes that. 5.2 Geostrategic value to Australia. Architecture dividend. Australia controls the AI fusion engine, the indispensable cognitive core of the entire grid. Every allied nation becomes structurally dependent on Australian sovereign AI architecture. Irreplaceable node status. Australia transitions from a dependent platform purchaser to the architecturally irreplaceable partner in the Indo-Pacific's most consequential security system. Sovereign IP ownership. All three systems, Veil AI architecture, ADV Nautilus, RSIHTRC, are owned and controlled from Toowoomba, Queensland, the first globally significant defence technology platform originating from regional Australia. Intelligence position: Australia holds the fusion node through which all allied sensor intelligence passes, creating a permanent strategic intelligence advantage. Alliance leverage: control of the AI ethics governance layer, RSIHTRC, that governs all escalation decisions across the grid gives Australia disproportionate influence over alliance decision-making architecture. Economic return: $3 to $4 billion Australian investment generates $6.8 to $10.2 billion NPV in strategic value at base case, plus $1.65 billion in Year 5 commercial revenues. 5.3 Geostrategic value to AUKUS. Pillar 2 realization: the Veil is the most comprehensive and deployable expression of AUKUS Pillar 2 capabilities, AI, autonomy, undersea, sensing, currently in existence, as a coherent integrated architecture. Persistent deterrence: continuous choke point surveillance converts the first island chain from a passive geographic feature into an active deterrence zone. Plan SSBNs cannot transit without being tracked. Interoperability layer: shared track ID and patrol map architecture creates genuine Five Eyes undersea domain common operating picture for the first time. Burden sharing legitimacy: Australia's architecture lead role provides a defensible narrative for US and UK alliance partners that Australia is contributing asymmetric sovereign capability, not merely hosting allied platforms. Ethical AI standard setting: RSIHTRC positions AUKUS as the global standard setter for ethical AI governance in defense, a soft power dimension that reinforces alliance legitimacy. 5.4 Geostrategic value to Indo-Pacific regional allies. Japan, Miyako and Bashi Strait seabed arrays directly protect Japan's first line of maritime defense. GSOMIA intelligence integration creates genuine bilateral capability upgrade. Philippines, Luzon Strait basing provides economic development dividend and material contribution to Philippine maritime sovereignty assertion. India, Southern Flank integration gives India a role in the first systematic monitoring architecture covering approaches to the Indian Ocean. Vietnam, Indonesia, access to grid intelligence positions both nations as active contributors to regional security rather than passive observers, providing diplomatic leverage against Chinese pressure. Singapore, IFC intelligence fusion role elevates Singapore's position as the premier information sharing node in Southeast Asia. 5.5 Alliance network effects. The Veil creates compounding alliance value through three structural mechanisms. Data network effect: every additional allied sensor feeding the grid improves detection accuracy for all partners. The system gets materially better with each new participant. Structural dependency: once allied platforms are integrated into the grid's tracking architecture, the switching cost is prohibitive. Allies become permanently dependent on the AI fusion engine. Precedent setting: the grid establishes the technical standards, classification protocols, and data sharing frameworks that will govern Indo-Pacific security architecture for decades. Strictly confidential, AUKUS Forum recipients only. Section 6: Impact on Chinese nuclear submarine deterrence. This section addresses directly the deterrence effects and survivability implications for Chinese SSBN operations in the event the abyssal deep stake Veil is fully implemented across first island chain choke points. 6.1 Current strategic context. China's Type 094 Jin class and future Type 096 SSBNs constitute the sea-based leg of China's nuclear triad. Their strategic value is predicated on survivability, the ability to operate undetected in ocean areas from which they can threaten adversary territory. Planned SSBNs must transit one of 5 principal choke points to reach open ocean patrol areas: Miyako Strait, Bashi Channel, Luzon Strait, Makassar Strait, and Lombok Strait. Current Allied detection capability provides intermittent, non-persistent coverage of these choke points. The tactical assumption underlying planned deterrence doctrine is that transit can be achieved without reliable adversary detection. 6.2 The deterrence mechanism of the veil. We are not searching for submarines. We are engineering an ocean they cannot move through without being measured. Neo Roosevelt Group, Abyssal Deep Stake Veil Executive Brief. 6.2.1 Persistent choke point coverage. The veil 6-layer architecture creates overlapping, redundant detection coverage at all 5 principal choke points simultaneously. Unlike point-in-time P8A patrols, the seabed DAS layer, optical grid, and AUV swarms provide continuous, non-interruptible surveillance. A plan SSBN transiting Miyako's Strait faces simultaneous acoustic, magnetic, optical, satellite, and surface sensing. No single layer needs to achieve detection alone. 6.2.2 Detection degradation of acoustic stealth measures. DAS fiber optic arrays detect vibration signatures at sensitivities below current plan noise quieting thresholds. Blue-green laser grid, 400 to 530 nanometers, penetrates to 300 m and detects hull displacement, wake turbulence residuals, and thermal signatures independent of acoustic output level. Magnetic anomaly detection arrays register the magnetic field distortion of submarine reactor cores and hull structures regardless of acoustic signature management. Cross-layer fusion means that a plan SSBN, quieted to the acoustic detection threshold of one layer, is detected by the combined residual signature across remaining layers. 6.2.3 Track persistence, the patrol map problem. Once a track ID is established, the veil maintains continuous contact through AUV geometric shadowing, multi-layer cross-skewing, and predictive route modeling. The Fusion engine generates patrol maps that document plan SSBN patrol patterns over time, converting individual detection events into persistent intelligence about strategic patrol posture. Allied SSN barrier patrols, integrated with the grid, are queued to track IDs in real time, enabling passive SIGINT exploitation and persistent non-kinetic tracking throughout patrol cycles. Over time, the patrol map database degrades the operational security of plan SSBN patrol routines, as pattern-of-life analytics reveal preferred operating areas, transit windows, and depth band preferences. 6.3 Survivability Assessment, Wartime SSBN Deployment Scenario. In the advent of any wartime Chinese SSBN deployment scenario in which the veil is fully implemented. Phase. Veil effect. Deterrence consequence. Transit phase, choke point passage. Persistent 6-layer detection, with high confidence track ID established within 15 to 30 minutes of entry, AUV shadow geometry engaged, Allied SSN queued. Plan SSBN commander aware of likely detection, launch on warning confidence degraded. Open ocean transit. Space layer, AUV relay meshes, and Allied SSN handoff maintain track ID across ocean areas. Confidence degrades only in contested acoustic environments. Strategic surprise lost. Patrol area compromised. Force multiplier of sea-based deterrent substantially reduced. Patrol position. Pattern of life analytics from accumulated patrol maps identify preferred patrol areas. Cross-skewing assets repositioned. Track ID re-established within hours of pattern deviation. Static patrol positions no longer viable. Dynamic repositioning creates detectable signature anomalies. Launch preparation. Shallow approach to launch depth triggers blue-green laser, and acoustic signature changes detectable within grid confidence thresholds. Track ID upgraded to high confidence. Pre-launch activities detectable, decision space for preemption, or deterrence signaling opened. 6.4 The deterrence effect, strategic assessment. The veil does not require active interception to achieve deterrence. Its mechanism is simpler and more strategically durable. Uncertainty injection, Plan strategic planners cannot know the precise current extent of grid coverage. The doctrine of nothing moves unmapped creates an operational fog of uncertainty that degrades the confidence underpinning plan deterrence calculations. Second strike degradation. If Plan SSBN commanders cannot be confident of surviving undetected to launch position, the credibility of China's nuclear second strike capability is materially degraded. This is the deterrence mechanism, not destroying SSBNs, but eliminating the confidence that makes them strategically viable. Escalation management. Persistent non-kinetic tracking of Plan SSBNs provides Allied commanders with granular situational awareness that enables calibrated escalation management, the ability to signal awareness of SSBN positioning without kinetic action, creating negotiating space in crisis scenarios. Cost imposition. Forcing Plan to invest in countermeasures against the full 6-layer stack. Acoustic stealth plus anti-optical plus anti-magnetic plus counter DAS imposes enormous resource costs. Each layer the veil adds multiplies the countermeasure investment Plan must make. Assessment. Full implementation of the veil across the 5 principal choke points would substantially degrade the strategic utility of Plan SSBN operations, materially reduce the credibility of China's sea-based nuclear deterrent, and impose significant operational constraints on any wartime SSBN deployment scenario. The deterrence effect operates through uncertainty and cost imposition rather than destruction, making it politically defensible and escalation stable. Strictly confidential, AUKUS Forum recipients only. Section 7, Value versus Cost, the case for investment. 7.1 The investment case in summary. Metric. Figure. Australia direct 10-year program cost. 3 to 4 billion Australian dollars. Australia NPV, base case, strategic value. 8.5 billion Australian dollars. Australia NPV, with commercial revenues, base case. 12 to 18 billion Australian dollars. Investment return multiplier, base case. 3.0, 4.5 times on direct government investment. Allied deterrence value, Plan SSBN constraint. Strategic deterrence at subnuclear threshold, no dollar value, but analogous CSIS modeling suggests $4.6b in avoided strategic surprise risk. Commercial ARR by year 5, NRG platforms. 1.65 billion Australian dollars. Combined NRG platform enterprise value, year 10 base. 35 to 55 billion Australian dollars. 7.2 cost benefit comparison, alternatives. Alternative. Estimated cost. Capability delivered. Strategic position. Expanded conventional submarine fleet alone, no grid. $30.50b. Intermittent point coverage, no persistent tracking. Contributor nation, no architecture ownership. Full nuclear submarine program, AUKUS SSN only. $268, 368b lifetime. Platform superiority, no persistent choke point surveillance. Dependent on US, UK technology, no sovereign IP. Abyssal Deep Stake Veil plus ADV Nautilus plus RSRHTRC. $34b, direct AUS cost. Persistent 6-layer choke point surveillance, track ID, patrol maps, AI ethics governance. Architecture owner, irreplaceable ally, sovereign IP, commercial revenues. 7.3 The uniqueness premium, Toowoomba-controlled Australian IP. No other nation is developing this architecture. The uniqueness of the NRG system generates compounding strategic and commercial advantages that cannot be purchased elsewhere. First mover advantage in a market with no functional competitors. The AI fusion layer for persistent undersea domain awareness does not exist elsewhere at this architecture grade. Sovereign Australian IP means no foreign access restrictions, no US ETAR entanglement on Australian developed components, and full commercial licensing rights retained in Australia. The data moat, Marcus's auditable database of governance decisions, accumulated across defense deployments, becomes the world's most valuable AI governance precedent database. A proprietary asset no competitor can replicate. Recursive improvement. Unlike static systems, the Veil's AI fusion engine and RSIHTRC improve continuously through operational use. The system delivered in Year 3 is materially superior to what was delivered in Year 1, without additional capital expenditure. Regional origin narrative. A globally significant defense technology capability designed and controlled from regional Queensland creates an Australian sovereign innovation narrative with enduring political and diplomatic value. We are not building a product. We are building the architecture that governs the Indo-Pacific. David Matthew Collinson, founder and strategic architect, Neo Roosevelt Group. Strictly confidential, AUKUS Forum recipients only. Section 8. The significance of Toowoomba-controlled sovereign IP. 8.1 Why Toowoomba matters. The fact that the world's most advanced persistent undersea domain awareness architecture, the most sophisticated AI ethics governance system, and the most capable maritime resilience testing platform have been conceived, designed, and are owned by a company headquartered in Toowoomba, Queensland is not incidental. It is the point. Strategic decentralization. Control of critical defense IP outside the major capital cities eliminates single-node vulnerability in adversary targeting calculus. Sovereign clarity. Australian federal and Queensland state governments can assert unambiguous sovereignty over the architecture, without foreign entanglement. NRG Party Limited, ABN 83,692,238,919, is an Australian-owned and controlled entity with no foreign ownership structure. Community anchoring. The Rooseveltian Fearlessness Program, RFP5, the Community Respect Foundation, and Warrigal House Galleries demonstrate NRG's embeddedness in the Toowoomba community. This is not an offshore entity extracting value, but a Toowoomba institution building sovereign capability from the ground up. Symbolism with strategic weight. HMAS Toowoomba, FFH 156, the Anzac-class frigate bearing the city's name, is the initial deployment platform for RFP5. The connection between the city, the ship, and the sovereign capability architecture is a narrative that resonates at ministerial, community, and allied levels. 8.2 The NRG architecture stack, Toowoomba origin. System. Function. IP origin. Commercial path. Abyssal deep stake veil. Indo-Pacific persistent surveillance. NRG Toowoomba. Eclipse Core Product Suite Licensing. ADV Nautilus. Resilience Assurance Platform. NRG Toowoomba. Sector-specific SaaS packs. RSRHTRC. AI Ethics Governance. NRG Toowoomba. Board Member SaaS, Defense License. RFP 5 of FADS 5. Human Performance Operating System. NRG Toowoomba. Defense, First Responders, Corporate. Community Respect Foundation. Civic AI Governance. NRG Toowoomba. Government Grants, Impact Investment. Warrigal House Galleries. Artist Development, Provenance Tech. NRG Toowoomba. Art Market, NFT Provenance Layer. 8.3 The Strategic Architecture Dividend, Final Statement. Australia has never in its history designed and owned the cognitive architecture of a globally significant defense system. Abyssal Deep Stake Veil, ADV Nautilus, and RSIHTRC represent the first occasion on which Australian sovereign IP, designed in regional Queensland, constitutes the indispensable intellectual foundation of an AUKUS Pillar 2 priority capability system. The architecture dividend is not merely financial. It is structural. Every allied nation that integrates its platforms into the Veil becomes dependent on Australian sovereign AI. This dependency is the source of Australia's disproportionate influence within the AUKUS alliance and its regional security relationships, achieved not through military mass, but through intellectual ownership. The value of this position cannot be overstated. Palantir built a global data analytics empire by embedding its architecture in US defense programs. Anduril became indispensable by owning the lattice fusion platform. NRG has designed the Indo-Pacific equivalent, and it is Australian-owned, Queensland-built, and Toowoomba-controlled. Persistence stealth times systems platforms times data darkness. Abyssal deep stake Veil strategic doctrine. Neo Roosevelt Group Party Limited times ABN 83,692,238,919. Toowoomba, Queensland, Australia. David Matthew Collinson, founder and strategic architect. Douglas Louis Lutvey, managing director. For briefing requests, contact NRG Strategic Policy Division. Strictly confidential, for AUKUS Forum recipients only.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.